Ladies and gentlemen, we are stepping into the craziness that is this bald noggin. You're stepping into the mind of madness with Jason. We're continuing the series on Pauper Prep. The state's Pauper events start this weekend. This week will probably be the last of the brunt of it, but subsequently, next week I'm probably going to have a recap episode talking about how I do in this Sunday's provincial event occurring for Ontario at Comic Book Addiction in Whitby. So check that out if you're in the Ontario area. Couple things worth noting is that unfortunately this year I cannot make it to New York, and a lot of the people on the team who do drive also can't make it to New York or can't make it to New York with their vehicles. So sorry guys, we're not going to be able to make it. Devin can't go down and defend his state championship over there. Sorry, we did our best. We just couldn't make the arrangements. But I will still be going to my event for my province, what we call states up in Ontario or up in Canada. In the meantime, so that said, as usual, we'll do the personal stuff, and then we'll talk about the game stuff, which is what we do on this show. The diet and exercise continues. So at work, we actually started a weight loss bet. $25 got us in, and then we're trying to lose as much weight as we possibly can by February. So I feel a little bit of regret on that because I've already made as much progress as I had, and I don't want to run into that problem where I'm going to suddenly just find out that I'm about as good as I'm going to get, because I am 6 feet tall. I am pretty wide set. I am actually exercising as part of this. Eventually, all this fat I'm getting rid of is going to start turning into muscle. Now, it's not going to be that much gain, but at the same time, I'm not going to see that much loss. That's kind of my panic right now, but I will just add a little bit of extra cardio to just shed some of these pounds as we go. What else is new in the Heroclix world? Or not the non-Heroclix world. I have been lacking in video games lately. I've been playing a lot of Borderlands 3, but otherwise not much otherwise. But I haven't been able to play it much lately. Life gets in the way sometimes, as it were. And because this is now the only other show that's left in which I can make the announcement that, some people watch the Metal Lab, some people watch the Patreon Hangouts. Not everybody watches all the shows. Some of you guys are only here for Into the Mind of Madness. But if you are a regular watcher of the channel, you will start to discover that Amber, even though much absent recently, is going to be absent altogether, except for our unboxing videos. She's going to step aside from the channel. It's too much work in the work-life balance sort of situation. And I'm just going to be taking the channel over for the most of it. Got the Metal Lab guys to help me out on the Metal Lab, obviously, but for the most part, it's going to be me. As far as my goal is to eventually bring games back. My goal to bring live games as a more consistent thing is definitely out the window. That's gone. So I'm gonna have to start recording games at tournaments and stuff like that, and either add commentary over that, or just do my thing and edit the games and just pop up the powers as they come across. So that's kind of the goals of the channel moving forward, and we'll see what we can do with this to make everybody kind of happy, and see if I can just maintain my sanity while also running the channel through here. So everything's going to be sailing as it's going, with just a much less inclusion of a prettier face in Amber. That said, let's talk. Today we wanted to talk completely about WWE and how it's going to work in Pauper, and then we're going to address any questions that you might have at the end of the show. So we're going to start. We're just basically going to get. It's going to be a whole lot of this. In fact, it's not even going to be that. It's going to be this, and I'm going to get rid of that. There we go. Look at that. Whoops. All right. So we're going to talk about WWE, how they're going to fit into Pauper, and how each of these figures kind of goes. So there's 18 figures in WWE that you get off the shelf, plus an additional 10 figures from various starters and the Mixed Match Challenge special. all of which are actually their own starter set, which is super useful if you ask me. All right, but we're going to start with figure number 1, The Rock. He comes in either 90 or 40 points. All these characters have the WWE team ability, which comes with the grand entrance, WWE rules, and WWE bonuses. So let's start with those before we actually get into the figures. So if you're unfamiliar, the WWE characters, when played in a multi-universe world, have a couple extra things. If you're playing a single universe game, which means in a tournament setting, if you have paid for 0 things, like everything you've paid for is WWE, and your opponent has done the same thing, and this is paid for things. If they paid for so much as a map bonus, then guess what, or location bonus, no, you're not. You are not a WWE team. If you pay for the WWE ring on a non WWE stuff, you do get access to WWE stuff and so on and so forth. So, just a quick heads on that. In addition to which, they all have the WWE team ability, which gives them bounce, pin, WWE rules, grand entrance, and that's it. And it's an uncopyable team ability. So in the Pauper format, we're not going to have the conversation about Kobik because it's a Pauper. She's not the Pauper figure. All right. But you get... so bounce is what allows you to consider terrain ropes. That's literally all it does. But bounce is only a part of the WWE team ability, which means if you don't have the WWE team ability and somehow you get your hands on Flying Leap as a power, you will not get the ropes bonus for it. Be forewarned on that one. Specifically, if you're not packing the WWE team ability. They have the pin team ability, pin ability, which works on characters that will have blue clicks. For Pauper, I don't think that's really a big thing beyond the WWE characters who had blue clicks on their last 3 clicks. Gee, I wonder why. 1, 2, 3. The pin ability, if you hit somebody with a signature move, which is the trait on every WWE figure, or a trait on every WWE figure, not the trait. Some of them have more than one trait. If you roll 1 die off, so the player who did the signature move is the active player, and the opponent. You roll a die. If your die roll, being the active player, is higher than your opponent's dice roll, let me just double check to make sure. If your result is higher, deal the character who's being pinned 1 penetrating damage, and then you repeat the process. But if they roll a 6, the dice roll ends and they heal. Because the best you can get is a tie, and they're going to heal 1. That's just how that's going to work. As well, WWE rules, characters with the WWE team ability cannot be the target of a ranged attack as long as they're on click 1, haven't already been targeted by a ranged attack this turn, or aren't on a blue click. So the last 3 clicks on all the dials. So if they're on click number 1, and that's the actual wording. I'm not sure if there's a differential between first click and click number 1. I keep meaning to put that one in the win. A blue click number. So that'll be one of the last 3. If they haven't already been targeted by a ranged attack. And it says this character can't be the target of ranged attacks or outwit if in this situation. So you can't outwit them. You can't target them with a ranged attack. And you can't do either if they've been targeted by a ranged attack already this turn. So brace yourself on that one there, kids. That's one of the big things that they have, the WWE rules. The other really big thing they have is a grand entrance. During the first turn, if this character is in your starting area, they have free move. Not half move, not quarter move, move. And that's their full movement value. So yes, Shawn Michaels on turn 1 can move 13 squares, or 14 if you're feeling frisky with your perplex, and still get a tuning up the band token because he's still yet to have taken a costed action. Sorry. So that said, let's go back to The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson himself. WWE team ability, 90 or 40 points. He's got the corporation, WWE, and celebrity keywords. So the 90-point dial, you got this really solid long dial, and he's only 4 clicks at 40. Invulnerable. All WWE characters also indomitable because the way they were making this set, there is no pushing rules in the single universe rulebook, and as a result, they just gave them all indomitable. So that when you move them there, people are used to just not pushing. He starts with some perplex, goes to mid dial, close combat expert, which switches to late dial and power or perplex. He's got for the first 2 clicks slam, which is close. Make a close attack, and if after actions resolve, you choose either give a hit character an action token, or move a hit character to an adjacent square. And it'll do his 3 damage. So Slam is actually a really versatile power, and his mid dial he has Stun, which is whenever this character hits one or more characters, give a hit character -1 attack, -1 damage. Really, really potent power. When considered. His signature move, the People's Elbow, close, improved movement characters. If the ROC has 1 action token, move him up to 2 squares. If this character has 1 action token, is going to be the requirement for signature moves. Move him up to 2 squares, then make a close attack, modifying attack by +1. If he hits friendly characters, modify damage +1 when attacking that hit character this turn, including this attack's damage. So if he hits with the rock bottom, the People's Elbow, he's going to actually deal his damage +1. And then everybody else who attacks the same target is going to get extra. He's got a special movement power on his later 3 dials, the Spine Buster, which gives him Slam, and Slingshot, which allows you to perform knockback in any direction. As well, you can also knock back characters with charge or combat reflexes. You also just knock back, and as a free action, you can make a close attack targeting an adjacent character that this character knocked back this turn. So it's really cool effect. Long and short of it, I'm going to say this for all of them: they are very safe plays, all of them, and it'll just be a matter of what team you want to go with it. Just kind of roll your way at that. As far as Pauper is concerned, there isn't really a celebrity theme team, but as part of a WWE theme team, adding Perplex to the mix is not a bad idea at all. He's playable either 90 or 40. And one of the things you'll find about the WWE characters is their high point values are very safe plays, and you can actually get away with some pretty non-traditional, just move my guys forward play for the first couple turns. This is the off-the-shelf Stone Cold Steve Austin. Comes in at 80 or 50. WWE and celebrity keyword. He's got they're all there's a few that are just 9 fat click dials. And his signature move, the Stone Cold Stunner, close knockback. If Stone Cold Steve Austin has 1 action token, make a close attack. If he hits after resolution, choose one. Give a hit target an action token, or remove an action token from Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then he's got Vehicular Assault, which is on his first click of either dial. Charge, when Stone Cold Steve Austin uses it, you may choose not to half his speed. If you do, he has improved movement, characters, and hindering terrain, and modifies damage +1, but can only move in a direct path. This is hardly the worst thing to happen to a character on the first turn. This is actually an amazing character. If you got some massive perplexes and some really good setup, turn 1, you can move Stone Cold Steve Austin 16 squares, possibly charging right out of the gates. It's pretty impressive when it comes down to it. So yeah, he's, again, really good, really safe, and he's more alpha strikey. He's got Slam in there. Right in this middle, Submission Hold, which is like poison, but it's got some extra bits. Free, if this character hasn't been moved or placed this turn, we've seen that with poison, deal 1 damage to target adjacent opposing character. So you can only target 1 character with it. Both the characters gain immobile this turn, but you can immobilize a character, which is a super awesome extra effect on top of the standard fare that you get out of Submission Hold. So, all in all, I'm going to say Submission Hold is a Stone Cold Steve Austin with, the dial that he has is pretty fantastic. He does have that late dial dip in his attack, but he does have Perplex to go with it, so you can kind of work around that should you choose. He's got some flurry spattered in there. One of the great things I love to say about this, he's got 0 range, but he's not going to get shot at first. So, and guys, do yourself a favor, because I've even been caught by it myself. Always remember that you can only get shot once per turn, if you can get shot. All right, next up, Triple H, 85 points or 45 points. Authority, Corporate Ministry, Degeneration X, Evolution, WWE, Assassin, and Politician keyword. My God. By God, the number of keywords he's got, and only 2 of them are generic. His signature move, the Pedigree, close. If Triple H has 1 action token, make a close attack, modifying damage +1. After resolutions, choose one. A hit target modifies attack -1, or give a hit target an action token. That's pretty solid. And because it's a close, and you haven't given your action token until after everything kind of goes. But, pair that with a charge and, the numbers game ability, which we'll talk about in a second, it can go pretty well. Numbers game, empower, friendly characters that are adjacent or share a keyword with him besides WWE can use empower. So, a couple keywords that are going to be helpful with this. Politician. There's a couple, honestly. Oddly enough, Politician became really strong in Pauper as a result of Triple H and another character I think we're going to be talking about later. But also, Evolution is a strong direction to go if you want to include Ric Flair. He's also really good to include, which we're going to talk about next. Just the general idea of having guys that happen to share a keyword with Triple H, just giving him power, in addition to Triple H having him power, on a character who's going to be in close combat, I think is actually a really solid deal. So Triple H is really good up there. He's got stun on the first 2 clicks. He's got slingshot on some middle dial. He's got slam in the middle as well, and he's got some late dial flurry without wit. I think there's a lot of potential in the game. It's all about the game. Next up we have Ric Flair. 85 or 45 points. Evolution, Heenan Family, WWE keywords. Heenan Family, I think, is only shared with Andre the Giant. Signature move, figure 4 leg lock. This one's one of the harder ones to pull off, and I've tried it. Close. If Ric Flair has 1 action token, make a close attack modifying damage +1 for each injured leg token on his target. We'll get to those in a second. If he hits, both he and his target gain immobile until its next turn. And then he's got his second trait, work the leg, walk it off. Once per turn, when Ric Flair damages an opposing character, give them an injured leg token. Characters modify speed -1 for each injured leg token they have, and defense -1 for every 2 injured leg tokens they have. When a character with an injured leg token is given a move action after resolutions, remove 1 of their injured leg tokens. Note that is an active move action, not a sidestep away or something like that, so it's still very strong. You can't just kind of go, oh, my leg still hurts. But he's also got exploit weakness and probability control on his first 5 clicks of 85 or just his first click of 45. And he's got like everything but his first 2 clicks has submission hold. But his first 2 clicks come with stun. And stun exploit weakness is such a savage combination of powers. The only problem I have with Ric Flair, of course, is that aside from the first turn move that you get from the Grand Entrance, he does only have sidestep. So he doesn't really get in there with the energy, with the exploit weakness. But, it is what it is, and I think Ric Flair is just a good character. That was my worst woo ever. I apologize. But yeah, that's just good. I mean, submission hold throughout like the late parts of the dial is just so good. And we move next to AJ Styles. 70 points or 40 points. WWE or martial artist keyword. This is one to add. There's a couple martial artists that are really good in the set. His signature move is a Styles Clash. If AJ has 1 action token, slam. When he uses it, hit characters modify their attack -2 and damage -1 until your next turn. So in addition to the choice of giving an action token or moving them 1 square that they don't necessarily want to be, and slam is really good at pulling things out of stealth, let me tell you, or making a giant or colossal multi-base character get put in a really awkward situation. AJ, his signature move is really strong. He's got lightning speed on his first 4 clicks, which allows him to ignore power action, ignore characters during movement, move up to 3 squares, make an attack, then move up to 2 squares. These are actual like hard set values, so you can't really work around that too much. He starts with stun on his first 2 clicks, and stun triggers on all attacks made by the character. Yeah, you heard me right. It doesn't specify close. It doesn't specify anything. It is just that strong. So when you're lightning striking and stunning people, they're trying to get back at him with his 18 defense. He's super obnoxious. He's got some late dial flying leap. If you can get next to some ropes with AJ Styles, the flying leap is really going to make those last 3 clicks that look really terrible actually look very threatening, especially when combined with his perplex. So this is an unassuming but super threatening dial. And I'm really impressed with how WWE, in a lot of these dials, they added a trait, made a super simple dial, but still managed to make them super cool and strong. Okay, next we have Sasha Banks, 70 or 40 points. She is a 7-click dial, much like AJ Styles. I didn't mention that. Ric Flair is an 8-click dial. Triple H is an 8-click dial. So we went from the 2 9-clicks to down a couple clicks. But that said, Sasha Banks, 70 or 40, 4 horsewomen, a WWE or celebrity keyword. Celebrity is very usable amongst WWE itself, but I don't think as a Pauper include necessarily wherever we want it. Bank statement is her signature move. Close, make a close attack. If she hits after resolutions, you may place a hit character in a different square adjacent to her. If you do, deal them 1 damage and they gain immobile until your next turn. She starts with some props. She's got some combat reflexes, which she'll be using once she's in combat. She's got lightning strike off the top, flying leap in the middle, and some late dial flurry without wit. Good combination. That also comes with submission hold. So like you could outwit somebody's defense, flurry them, and then after everything is done, submission hold, and that's just like that. The only problem is she's got this other trait. The boss doesn't need friends, but the one I do have, I keep very close. This is a traitor trait. Once per force, when Sasha Banks is KO'd, you do not remove her from the game. Instead, after resolutions, place her in the square she last occupied on click number 5. So the first of the last 3, the pinnable clicks. She's now friendly to your opponent's force and isn't scored again. So Sasha can really let you down. She's a bit of a liability, and the effort it takes to kill her isn't worth it. So I'm just going to warn you now, Sasha Banks, as a source of prop, is probably one of the less likely to be used, but she comes at a fairly steep discount as a character. So work around that, as it were. Next, we have Finn Balor, 70 points or 45 points, WWE or Mystical. It's a plain dial with lightning strike off the top, slingshot in the middle, slam in the middle, late dial stun, and flying leap. And his signature move is a 1916. If Finn Balor has 1 action token, slam. When he uses it, hit characters modify their defense -2 until your next turn. Finn is slippery. I've tried him. I've used him. And he's mystical too, so that gives him a lot of options. But he is a slippery little lightning striker, and you really need to have some way of chasing him down if you're going to get him, because he's going to stay out of base. He's not going to let you. He's going to force range options and stuff like that on you if you don't have like sidestep or charge. So use Finn as a super awesome harassment piece, and just really frustrate characters, especially when you have an 8-click dial at 70 points. I think Finn is fairly solid as a harassment piece in the environment. Next we have Ronda Rousey, 95 or 45 points, WWE celebrity and martial artist keyword. That's that martial artist keyword again, which is, dude, if you're looking in Pauper, martial artist is probably one of the more prevalent keywords among scientists and mystical. Her signature move is the arm bar. Close, improved movement characters. If Ronda Rousey has 1 action token, move up to 2 squares, then make a close attack. After resolutions, choose 1. Deal 1 penetrating damage to a hit character, or for the rest of the game, a hit character can't be healed if Ronda Rousey is on the map. That is savage. Should break your arm. Middle dial, she's got an ability called the Piper's Pit, or the first click of her 45-point dial. Reversal and slam. When she uses slam and chooses to place the target, she may place them in a square within line of fire up to 3 squares away instead of adjacent, and then may place her adjacent to them. So you kind of move them 3 squares away from where they are, but go with them. There's a lot of potency going on with that one as well, especially when you're looking to get things out of the way and keep Ronda somewhat relatively protected. She also got special damage power perplex, but she can't target friendly characters or choose damage. She may use it twice per turn. Double perplexing somebody's attack down twice is just ruthless as it is. Her reversal as a power, we haven't really talked about it in this particular episode yet. Adjacent opposing characters get breakaway -2, so it's kind of like plasticity in that sense. Free, if this character has been given no actions or only a move action this turn, make a close attack targeting a character that missed this character or failed to break away from this character since your last turn. So in some situations, it's kind of like a colossal retaliation. In other situations, it's a free extra attack. Did you try to break away sidestep? Shame. Do yourself a favor. If you see reversal and you're thinking, what's the threat in breakaway sidestep? There's a threat now. There is a massive threat now. Don't be doing it willy-nilly. Just like leaderships with those with the Watch the World Burn guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, next up, I can't see the stats on this one. Okay, that's my one per episode. John Cena, WWE Team Building for 80 or 50 points, WWE and Celebrity keyword. His signature move is the STF. which is a shame because he does it terribly. Close. If John Cena has a 1-action token, make a close attack. Hit characters gain immobile until your next turn. And for each 5 or 6 in the dice roll, choose one. Modified damage +1. Or after actions resolve, give a hit character an action token. That is a cool effect on an ability that's already going to immobilize a dude. So it's kind of it's a weird combination of effects. And the 5 and 6, you might see one. If you see 2, wow. But don't expect to be getting extra damage as much out of this one as you are trying to immobilize somebody. I think that's the better effect to expect. But his trait never give up, or sorry, his special defense power never give up, which he has his first 4 clicks of his 8-click dial. Combat reflexes, super senses, and toughness in the combination. It's good. It's really good. And considering his safety from being shot at first, and then his jumping in, it's pretty fantastic combination. All right, next up, Macho Man Randy Savage, one of my favorite characters in pro wrestling of all time. 100 points, 60 points to get the New World Order, WWE, and Celebrity keyword. Signature move is a flying elbow, which gives him ignore hindering for movement. Ignore hindering in characters. If Macho Man Randy Savage has 1 action token, move up to 3 squares to make a close attack. If you started adjacent to 2+ ropes, also modify damage by +X, where X is the amount of your attack total exceeded the attack total exceeded the hit character's defense. So, okay, that one is wordy, but it's pretty easy to explain. If I take Macho Man's first click there and I attack with an 11 attack and you have a 17 defense and I roll a 9, and I did happen to start this next to 2 ropes, that means I'm going to get +2 damage because my dice roll and the attack value in total up to a 19, which is 2 more than the 17 I would have needed to hit. The bonus on this one as well is that he comes with one of the greatest talkers in WWE history, Perplex. And when Macho Man uses it to target himself, he may modify a value except damage by +2 instead of +1. When he uses it to target an opposing character until your next turn, that character can't use Outwit or Perplex. This is like the best Perplex in the game I've ever seen. This Macho Man is just really good. He's very unassuming, and he's got a 20 defense for the most little part when you're using that special Perplex. Those of you who are trying to follow along I just noticed in the chat there's somebody asking. If you go to hcrealms.com, you go to the forums, and you go under general discussion. There's actually a sub-tab of rumors and upcoming sets, and then you go into that and you click on the topic that is the WWE figures. You scroll down a little, you'll find where these are. Unfortunately, HC Realms unit section doesn't yet have the full set. The volunteers are working at whatever pace they can. Appreciate the work that they do. Anyway, Macho Man, fantastic figure. I think he's worth 100 points in Pauper, and if you can get him there and make him work, ooh yeah. Next up, a little bit of Canadian flavor in Trish Stratus. She is 75 or 40 points. WWE and Celebrity keywords. She is an 8-click dial for 75 points or a 5-click dial for 40 points. That's really cool for 40 points. It's a lot of clicks. She's got a signature move, the Stratisfaction. Close. If Trish Stratus has 1 action token, make a close attack. If she is adjacent to 2+ ropes, until your next turn, a hit character can make an attack and can't make an attack and modifies defense -2. Warning on this one: +2 ropes is incredibly hard to set up. But she does have charge on the first 3 clicks, which makes it a little easier. If you're playing against her, you can avoid it. She does have Perplex. Ultimately, don't plan on the Stratisfaction, I think is the best way to look at it. Excuse me. She also got the Chick Kit. Close, make a close attack. Modified damage +1 for each action token on the target. That's just good. You'll find a lot of characters are going to be having action tokens. And nothing's better than watching a Nimrod go, I'm sorry, did this lady just, ow? All the worth noting, she's got middle dial Nimble, a power we haven't described on this episode just yet. Nimble is improved movement, hindering terrain, breakaway +2. Those are just passive effects as part of the ability. And then free, move up to 1 square. So it's like a half a sidestep with a bunch more extra freshness on it. It's pretty fantastic power. It's one of my favorites of the thing too. It's underrated at its finest. All right, next up, Asuka, who nobody is ready for. She's 80 points or 40 points. WWE, future, or martial artist keywords. Her signature move is a flying hip attack. If Asuka has one action token, lightning speed. When she uses it, if she only moves in a direct path and hits, modified damage +1 for each square she moved through. Now, lightning speed lets you move 3 squares, so you can get up to +3 damage on that. If you can move in a direct line forward 3 squares, that's sick. And she's got a lot of damage stacking. Asuka's, don't let that 2 damage fool you at all. And especially after her first 2 clicks where she has the special attack power on there. But no one is ready for Asuka is the next trait. When Asuka KOs an opposing character, choose a combat value that she has not chosen for this ability this game, and modify it +1 for the rest of the game. If she's already chosen 4 combat values, heal her 2 clicks instead. She can't be healed above her starting line. Whew, man. Then she has the Asuka lock, which is the everything past the first 2 clicks of the 80-point tile. Submission hold. When Asuka uses it, increase damage dealt by +1 for each Asuka lock token the target has. And after resolutions, give her target an Asuka lock token, maximum 2. So they have 2 tokens. You increase the damage by 1 on submission hold, which does 1. So let's do this. Let's say it's turn 2. Asuka gets submission hold somehow on this. And then you do the 1 damage, everything goes to the end, and then boom, she's got 1 token. Next turn now, your submission hold does 2 damage, and then everything's all done. You have 2 tokens on her. Then the next turn, you're now doing 3 damage submission holds. That's gross. And I've heard tales of people getting 3 damage submission holds for like multiple turns on people. And once you hit it kind of stacks on itself because you give them immobile when you submission hold, so they're not going anywhere for a turn. That includes, I believe, immobile actually is no movement, no placing. I'm going to double check just to be sure, because I'm pretty sure that's what immobile does. Immobile, this character can't be moved or placed if this is an object that can't be picked up or held. So, they ain't going anywhere. You can start to add these things up. Now, she has some evasion in her in her super senses, but if you can get some perplexes and some probs to protect her even further, oh man, are they gonna have a hard time with the Empress of Tomorrow. Be ready for Asuka, but nobody is. All right, next up, the Undertaker, corporate ministry, WWE, monster, and mystical keyword. Hey, look at that monster. Signature move, Tombstone Pile Driver. But this is probably one of the strongest ones you'll see in the game. That I've seen, because I've used it, and to great effect, and it's disgusting, because it combos with the Undertaker. I'll explain in a second. Close. If Undertaker has 1 action token, make a close attack. Modify attack and damage by +1 for each action token on the target, and an additional +1 attack if the target has immobile. And then he's got the trait Big Guy, Giant Reach 2. Undertaker can't be knocked back or given action tokens by opposing characters. As well, he's got a special defense power, which is like that 1 click just before he's in pin range. The Undertaker rises. Stop. Toughness. Undertaker can't be healed above this click. Shame. Whenever this click is revealed, after resolutions, knock back all adjacent opposing characters 1 square. This knockback also occurs if he heals up to this click. So it's that Undertaker gets up, everybody's knocked back a square. And in proper conditions, that can do a lot of damage if your opponent, because WWE characters already force close combat, right? So anyway, that said, let's talk about the signature move in the Tombstone Pile Driver. He's got submission hold for all but his last 3 clicks. So you combine submission hold to make them immobile, and now so step 1, submission hold. I don't care if they have toughness. You're fine. Whatever. Now they are mobile. They are immobile. So now, in addition to whatever action tokens they might have, and they could have 2. Let's say it's a character who is pushed because they tried to take out the Undertaker, and look at that dial. He's beefy. You increase his attack and damage by 2 if it's 2 action tokens, and then because you've used submission hold, regardless of doing damage, you're now getting a 3rd additional attack. In addition to the +2 damage. Yeah, that's probably one of the strongest signature moves in the set, if you ask me. Um, and then just it's a good dial. 100 points is not bad for a 9-click dial with a stop click in the middle. Granted, you can't heal past the stop click, but you do have regen on those last 3 pin clicks, and he does have probability control to go with it, which goes its own way. His late dial does come with the knockback slingshot. He also has some slam, but there's a lot of submission hold, and that really works with a tombstone pile driver. Plus, giant reach goes a long way as well. I mean, it goes a 2 square way. Next, we have his brother Kane, 100 points or 60 points. Authority, Corporation, WWE, Monster Mystical, Politician. He's the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. His signature move is the choke slam. Close. If Kane has one action token that has been moved or placed this turn, that's kind of an important thing. Slam. When he uses it, modifies damage plus X, where X is the amount of your attack total exceeded the hit character's defense value by. He's got a pretty reasonable attack, and if you can get that off, it's strong, but it's hard to count on. But it combos with his giant reach too, and it's also when you're using slam. So regardless of doing the extra damage, you might give them an extra action token, or you might move them into a place that's terrifying for them. So this is a 9-click dial as well for 100 points, and he's got this special power on his first click. Fiery posts. Power. Choose up to 4 opposing characters in the 6 squares that are adjacent to 2+ ropes. Make a close attack, targeting all of them regardless of adjacency. Each hit character is dealt 2 penetrating damage. Now, there's a lot of problems with this ability. Like, the only thing that counts as ropes for non-WWE characters are the ring ropes, because bounce is part of the WWE team ability, and as a result, the bounce being the only source of saying these are ropes. Kane is one of the harder ones to justify at 100 points for the Pauper format, in my opinion. I think it's super easy to justify The Undertaker. It's a little harder to justify Kane, in my opinion. Just because of how Fiery Post works and how many points I think they're putting into that power. When you compare, like, if you compare these dials at 100 points each, like, it's almost academic that The Undertaker seems like the more reliable dial. The only issue, of course, is that, Kane on his last click does have regeneration and can go the whole thing. But at the same time, Undertaker's 3 clicks of pin scarceness also leads him into his stop click, which has its own effect as well. So I think The Undertaker kind of overshadows Kane, but Kane is not... I'm not saying Kane is bad. I'm just saying there's a lot of complications that come with the Fiery Posts. Don't expect it to ever work in most cases. But you choose up to 4 opposing characters, so you can do it to one dude. That's like one wrestling dude that's within 6 squares, not line of fire, and adjacent to 2 ropes. So if they're trying to sneak indoors and they're like in a corner of blocking terrain, or they're next to hindering and block and at a wall, like boom, blow their faces up, and do 2 penetrating damage, because why not? Next up we have Andre the Giant. 110 points for a 10-click dial, or 90 points, so it's either 10 or 8. His signature move is the Scoop Slam. If if Andre the Giant has 1 action token, my gosh, I am ashamed of myself. I'm just gonna go hand in all my wrestling shirts. Slam. When he uses it, he may choose both options. That's potent, because you are both moving a character and giving them an action token. He's got a special movement power, the Big Boot, Sidestep, and Slingshot. When an opposing character that moved this turn missed Andre the Giant with a close attack, after resolutions, deal that hit character 2 damage and knock them back 2 squares. Get out of my face, the Andre the Giant says. Then he's got a special defense power, the 8th Wonder of the World, Invulnerability. When Andre the Giant would be targeted by Outwit or opposing probability control, roll a d6 on a 4 to 6. Instead, that character can't use that power this turn. You cannot use that power. This is a fat, meaty dial that just is effective. It's an effective, hard to kill Andre the Giant. I love him at 110. I've used him at 110. Not sure about his mobility in Pauper, but he's slow, methodical. He's kind of like watching Jason Voorhees come at you. He's got some intermittent Quake, so if you can line that up with his big guy trait, because he's got giant reach too, goes a long way. He's also got stun on a lot of his clicks, which you don't want to be doing less damage when you have this dial to get through. So, just some things for you to consider for Andre the Giant. Not bad, not singing the praises, but could be played at 110 as a nightmare for some teams. And, you know, he pairs with Ric Flair fairly well. All right, Roman Reigns is next, 70 or 40 points. WWE or celebrity keyword. The big dog, as they call him. Signature move, spear. So don't let this movement situation that he has bother you, because the second he gets one click or one action token, things change. The signature move is a spear. If Roman Reigns has +1 action to, or sorry, I'm just fumbling today. If Roman Reigns has 1 action token, charge. When he uses it, he doesn't half his speed value, and after resolutions, heal him 1 click for each character he hit. Now, why do they word it that way? Because in the middle of his dial, he has clothesline into a Superman punch, sidestep, flurry. When Roman Reigns uses flurry, he may move 1 square after the first attack resolves. He also ignores characters for movement which didn't make it onto this. Wowza. Just great. He's solid 70 points. The thing about Roman Reigns is I don't think I've ever had him survive. It could be my lack of concern for the character of Roman Reigns as a pro wrestling fan. Yeah, there's a couple pro wrestling fans who are laughing right now, I'm sure of it. But I don't care. Because in addition to having to charge can be comboed with... non-having charge that ignores characters for movement can be combined with his slam to just be a pain in the butt, if everything goes your way, of course. So Roman Reigns is good, not a bad 70-point include, probably a last include in the WWE, solid team. But I like him. He's really good at leading the attack. All right. Next up, Eddie Guerrero, Viva la Raza, 70 or 55 points, WWE and Warrior keywords. His signature move is the Three Amigos. If Eddie Guerrero has 1 action token, Flurry, when Eddie Guerrero uses it, he can make 3 close attacks instead of 2, and his maximum damage value is 3. Not bad. Viva la Raza is his special defense power on this last click, which is stop. First time this click is revealed. After resolutions, heal Eddie Guerrero 1 click. Danger zone here. We'll get there. Lie, cheat, and steal is a special damage power on his first 2 and his last click. Probability control, but you may choose to re-roll only 1 die. So it kind of works either or. And let me tell you, rolling 1 die in the right situation. Oh, you needed a 7 and you rolled a 6 and a 1? I got bad news for you. You're rolling that 6 again. Just the look on your opponent's face like, defeat. Although oftentimes I've seen them roll the 6. He's also got reversal on his first 2 clicks. He's got submission hold in the middle, and he's got flying attack. And flying attack with the stats that he has, you get +1. Flying attack I don't think I described in the episode, so let me just go over that power very quickly. Flying leap. I kept calling it flying attack. Flying leap. Power, improve movement, hindering characters. So you ignore characters in movement, move up to 3 squares, then make a close attack, modifying attack +1. If this character started adjacent to +2 ropes, also modify damage +1. Now let's go look at that attack and damage on that first click again, because it's fear-inducing when a 70-point character moves 3 with a 12 attack and a 4 damage with probability control. That can reroll 1 die if he wants. I love Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero is probably one of the best characters, and his signature move I think is okay. Undertaker, Eddie Guerrero is like here, but both are really strong. I think the Undertaker is just like super reliable because of the dial. But anyway, he's also got reversal on the first 2 clicks with super senses. Like he's a perpetual threat for everything that you're paying for him, and I love it. The Big Show, hey! 100 points or 75 points. So for a 9-click dial, it's got authority, corporation, new world order, WWE, and celebrity keyword. His signature move is the KO punch. Big Show has 1 action token, Quake. When Big Show uses it to target more than 1 character, he deals 3 damage instead of 2 to each hit target, and friendly characters attacking those hit targets modify damage +1. So similar to the People's Elbow, he makes it more damage for everybody else targeting a guy. With Colossals in the Pauper format, and fat dials that you're going to have to get through, worth a little bit of a work on. Big guy gives him giant reach 2, and he can't be knocked back or given action tokens by opposing effects. But then he's got this traitor trait. Oh, it's the Big Show. We get the joke. Once per force, when Big Show is KO'd, do not remove him from the game. Instead, after resolutions, place him in the square he last occupied on click number 7. He's now friendly to your opponent's force and isn't scored again. I get the joke, but it really kind of turns me off this figure. Because for 10 points more, I get an extra click and Andre the Giant. Like, Charge Slam is okay, but 17 defense with Invulnerable versus 19 defense with Invulnerable, I'm going Andre over Big Show in this case, which is such a shame. But I mean, it makes a lot of sense in the grand world of wrestling. It's not that I don't like him. I'm hesitant on the traitor trait, as it were. All right, we're getting into the end of it. The Rock and Sock Connection. This version of the Rock. There's only 1 point value on all of these guys. He's got 7 clicks here. His signature move is a Rock Bottom. If Rock has 1 action token, make a close attack, modify damage +2 if the target has no action tokens, or +1 if they have 1 action token. If he hits, the hit target modifies defense -1 this turn. So another team up on everything. And I'm not going to yell because it's 11-15, but it doesn't matter what you think is his special damage power on the first 4 clicks. When an opposing character would use Outwit, Perplex, or Probability Control to target the Rock or an adjacent friendly character, roll a d6. On a 4 to 6, instead, that opposing character can't use that power this turn. Just good. This is just, I'd almost use this one over the other one, to be brutally honest, but both are useful in their own ways. I personally... Hey, we'll move on. Mankind, Rock and Sock Connection, WWE, and Monster Keyword. Rock has Corporation, Rock and Sock Connection, WWE, and Celebrity Keywords. He's got Slam in the first 2 clicks. Signature move, Mr. Sacco. Close. If Mankind has 1 action token, make a close attack after resolutions. A hit target gains a mobile and is given an action token. 2 really nasty things to give somebody with just an attack. He's got Perplex as well on his first click with Slam. And then he's got a special... damage power on his last 5 clicks on the 7 clicks that you have here. Cactus Jack or Dude Love. Free. Choose one. Mankind can use Perplex until your next turn or heal him 1 click. So you can like kind of force not getting past click 2 or just get to a better click. It is a free action. There's nothing wrong with free healing. We saw Wolverine do it for Oliver Genesis, so we kind of get it. We get it. Just good Mankind. It's the only Mankind. Love Mankind. So if you're a big fan of Mankind, worth an include on your team with just as perplex as it is. Stone Cold Steve Austin, 75 points, WWE and Celebrity Keyword. He's not so much of a move and attacker, but you can work on that. He's got WWE and Celebrity, I think I said. Signature move, crack open a 6-pack of stunners. Close. If Stone Cold Steve Austin has 1 action token, make a close attack. Each time he hits after the attack resolves, he may move up to 2 squares using improved movement, ignore characters, and make close attack a close attack targeting a friendly or opposing character he hasn't attacked this turn. He may repeat this as long as able. I personally attacked 4 werewolves with this in 1 game. If this goes off, your opponent is having a bad day. But the problem with the Stone Cold Steve Austin is you have to find a way to get him in this situation, which includes TK, which means you're not really playing a WWE themed team. And in Pauper, it's really more complex. So if you're playing that off-themed team and you have that cheap form of TK, like Lieutenant Kyle or one of the X-students or something like that, yeah, go for it. But you make sure you have a way to just zap him somewhere so that when he does go off, he goes off good. It's not on the level of Vulture because he doesn't require a KO and he's not like flurrying when he does it. He's just making an attack, but it's really good. Triple H. I think he has a WWE team. At least this is no affiliation. That's weird. 70 points. Authority, Corporate Ministry, Corporation, Degeneration, X, Evolution, WWE, Assassin, Politician, Keyword. So it's the same as the other one. Signature move is the Spine Buster on this one. If Triple H has 1 action token, make a close attack, modifying attack and damage +1 for each action token on the target. So similar. I'm kind of impressed with this one, much like I am with the Undertaker. But where I like it better on Triple H is Triple H comes with charge. He doesn't have the extras that the Undertaker has, like the immobile thing, but still, like that's a really strong. So Eddie
Undertaker, Triple H, starter set, signature move is just a little under that. Grandest entrance of them all on his first click. Charge, the first opposing character to attack each turn modifies attack -1. All right. So yeah, Triple H is a really good version of Triple H. Doesn't stack the damage like the other one does, but this one is kind of a little bit more utility, especially when you consider he's got leadership. Ric Flair, woo! 75 points, Evolution, Heenan Family, WWE. Signature move, low blow while the ref is distracted. That's so Flair. Close, if Ric Flair has one action token, make a close attack. If he hits, instead of normal damage, roll a d6 and deal the hit character damage equal to the result, minimum 3 damage dealt. So, like, there's a 50-50 chance that you deal 3 damage, and there's a 50-50 chance that you deal 4, 5, or 6 damage. If the result was 1, also give Ric Flair a referee warning token. When Ric Flair uses his signature move, modify his attack by -1 for each referee warning token he has. You got caught by the ref. I love the taste on that one. He's got the eye gouge, stun, but hit characters modify attack -2 and damage -1 instead. So it's like a really good stun. I still like the other Flair a little better, but this one is more focused on being supporty. He's also 10 points less, depending on how you're going to move your points around. But the exploit, weakness, and stun combination on the other one, I kind of like. And he starts with nimble to go off of first, so he doesn't kind of get as much movement, but he's also got the +2 to breakaway, so he's slippery. I like them both. Go with whatever one you go with. Shawn Michaels, this is an awesome character. WWE 75 points, D-Generation X, New World Order, WWE keywords, signature move, sweet chin music, close, improved movement, characters. If Shawn Michaels has one action token, move him up to half his speed value, then make a close attack, modifying attack and damage +1 for each tuning up the band token. After resolutions, remove those tokens. How do you get tuning up the band? Well, you tune up the band. At the end of your turn, if Shawn Michaels was not given a costed action this turn, give him a tuning up the band token. When Shawn Michaels is damaged by an attack, remove all of his tuning up the band tokens. His special movement power gives him nimble and sidestep. That's good. This is a really good, solid 75-point character. I want you to just, I think I said it at the beginning of something, and say it again. 10 movement for free. With the grand entrance team, with the grand entrance ability from the team ability, then I nimble, then I sidestep, then I tune up the band at the end of the turn. I can even get an additional movement. I can move 11 squares if I'm really feeling really frisky with the perplex. And on top of all of that, it's really hard or really easy to nimble, sidestep, perplex, and then all of a sudden, I'm going to theme team prob a bad attack. I've got an action token and I've tuned up the band for a couple turns. I can't super kick in such a short space, but, you know, super kick party, kids. Super kick party. All right, we wrap up with the Mishmash Mixed Match Challenge. Charlotte Flair, 75 points, 4 Horsewomen, Phenomenal Flair, WWE. Sorry, Shawn Michaels is awesome. I don't know if I made that clear. Very awesome. Signature move, the Natural Selection. If Charlotte Flair, we gave it the National Selection. I didn't even read that. I thought it would have been a figure 8. When she has one action token, lightning speed. When she uses it, if she only moves in a direct path and hits, after resolutions, give a hit character an action token. So it's a really good lightning strike. Nothing wrong, or lightning speed. Not a bad thing. Nimble in the middle. She's got a fairly deep 7-click dial for 75 points. She's got Empower to start, Perplex in the middle, late dial prob. I'm a little sad about the late dial prob when it comes on the pin clicks for a bad day when you're dealing with other WWE guys. But overall, not bad. Pretty good. Solid inclusion. Sasha Banks, this is one I like. This Sasha better than the other one because of the lack of traitor trait. 75 points. Demon Boss is her team. 4 Horsemen and WWE keywords. Signature move, the Meteora. If Sasha Banks has one action token, Flying Leap. When she uses it and hits after resolutions, a hit character gains a mobile until your next turn. You may heal her 1 click. And then the Mixed Match Challenge, her Mixed Match Challenge, Phenomenal Flair. If she's with AJ Styles, Slam, when Charlotte Flair uses it and the target is adjacent to a character named AJ Styles, you can choose both options to Slam. That's just good if you're using a character named AJ Styles. You can use either or AJ Styles for this, and just the other AJ might not have his. The Mixed Match Challenge for Sasha Banks, Demon Boss, Slingshot. When Sasha Banks knocks back the character until your next turn. If that character is adjacent to a character named Finn Balor, modify its defense -1. That is like team up fodder. Love it. Perplex off the top, which is good, including some submission with Nimble. She's got some reversal in there and some late dial submission. Again, some prob in the late dial. And she's got regeneration to get her out of her pin clicks. Love the character. We have Finn Balor. Sorry, I didn't say it right. Finn Balor. Demon Boss, WWE, and Mystical Keywords. He's got signature move to coup de grace. If Finn Balor has one action token, Flying Leap. When he uses it, a hit character can't use defensive powers until your next turn. We love this. We love this with the Green Arrow. Let's not kid ourselves. Finn Balor's coup de grace. Mixed match challenge, Demon Boss, Slingshot. So also if he puts a character adjacent to Sasha Banks, defense -1. So it's the same kind of thing. AJ Styles is 70 points. Phenomenal Flair WWE. Not martial artist, unfortunately, on this one. Though I got to double check the card to be sure on that one. Signature move, Phenomenal Forearm. If AJ Styles has one action token, Flying Leap. When he uses it, a hit character can't use speed or attack powers until your next turn. So Finn Balor is good. AJ Styles is good. I like Finn Balor a little better. Finn Balor has Empower off the top, though. AJ Styles has Probability Control. They're both good in different ways, guys. Yes, he's Prince Devitt. I gotcha. He's a real rock and roller. When AJ Styles uses it, target is adjacent to a character named Charlotte Flair. You may choose both options of slam. Then the WWE ring, to wrap it all up. It's Constellation. If somehow you can't place it at the beginning of the game, choose a friendly character. Once per game, you may re-roll that character's attack. Once per game, you may re-roll an attack targeting that character. Not bad. Not a bad consolation. Next, ropes exist along the edge of the ring. When you knock a character back into the ropes, you may choose their knockback path their knockback path continues in the opposite direction back along the wing. So if you're like click square 3 and the ropes are here and they go 1, 2 and they're knockback 3, you can have them go 1 back on the knockback. Once per turn, you may re-roll the close attack of a friendly character in the ring. This wording is important. Once per turn, you may re-roll the range attack of an opposing character outside the ring that's targeting a friendly character inside the ring. This is new wording for a special terrain. Brace yourself for this one. Your ring is yours, and you're the only one getting these effects. So if you paid for the ring, you're the only one who's getting the friendly characters getting re-rolls, and you're the only one forcing re-rolls from outside of the ring. All of this is kind of important if you think about it, because it's a no-risk situation. One of the things that I noticed was kind of an issue with the boxing ring is, and I didn't notice it as an issue when I was using it. I was noticing it as an issue when opponents were using it. I would just walk into the boxing ring and use it, or my colossal retaliations would get +1 attack attacking somebody who used the ring for protection. Like it's pretty insane how much of a liability it could possibly become. And as a result, the WWE ring lacks that whole problem because, lo and behold, it only works for friendly characters. So keep track of whose ring is whose, so both you and your opponent bring a ring. So this set is amazingly, spectacularly awesome when you're talking about playing Pauper. Everything is super playable in it. There are some comparable, like you take 1-to-1, you'd probably want to take the other one. Like in the example, Big Show versus Andre the Giant. I'm going to pay the extra 10 points for Andre the Giant, I'm sorry. But not necessarily a bad thing to put Big Show on your team if you need a tough enforcer or mastermind fodder or something that you can get off of him. So overall, and one of the things worth noting as well, and I've mentioned in other episodes of on our channel, is these characters are really friendly to the move forward and don't worry strategy, which is amazing. Just stay out of your opponent's close combat range if they can find a way to TK charge you, or just make sure that when they do it, if they do it, they're about to get punished hardcore, and that's easy enough to do if you think about it. So, the WWE, I think, really shake up the Pauper meta for sure. They'll still have a number of issues, like one of the biggest issues that people are talking about in Pauper is just hitting Nimrod. That's a problematic situation, just no matter the team. But at the same time, I've had WWE teams take him down. It took a while, and the team took a couple of shots in the face as a result of the The Tombstone Pile Driver is really good until you have a 14 attack that a 14 attack against an 18 defense, and you hit the 4 and it's like, So, all in all, really great for Pauper in general. They can take down to Nimrod. They a lot of them have sources of like lots of attacks. Like Eddie Guerrero triple flurrying doing 1 damage at a time. You're not giving the healing tokens to the Nimrod. You are putting yourself at risk in every single time you do it. But yeah, just if you're gonna play them, do it. They're worth it 100%. And if you really want to get the maximum value out of it, throw something into the middle of it, like a location bonus to get one of the prop pogs from Tony Stark's tower, or something that just keeps you out of the single universe games. The reason for it, of course, is in a single universe game of WWE versus WWE guys, you lose a lot of your outwit proofing and your throwing it. I don't even think you can actually throw an object now that I think about it. I gotta check the single universe card here. Is the object range attack still there? Yeah, no, because there's range object attacks. Range value 6, make a range attack targeting. Yeah, okay, sorry. Ignore me. So you're actually kind of subject to be having objects thrown at you and stuff like that from WWE guys. Now, it's granted, it's a minor thing, all things considered, but, you know, better to be prepared and not have to deal with that kind of situation than to, you know, suffer it. Yeah, so that said, WWE is really good. Go for it. Time to address questions. If you have any in the chat, capital letters question, and I will answer if I catch them. Like, for instance, Ethos Black. What objects or map bonuses do you think will be seen in Pauper? There's, as far as objects are concerned, I think there's 3 legal objects. There's the Asgardian Shield, there's the Knobbed Mace, and there's the Blood Axe. And I think all 3 have teams that they're super useful on. I mean, Blood Axe is really good on WWE guys, especially and you got to consider any of these objects can be equipped turn 1. So imagine the fear-inducing elements of the like a character like the Undertaker with Steel Energy, or just any WWE character with Steel Energy, Macho Man, Asuka. Like, that's, I got that 1 damage off on them, and then they hit me back the next turn and it was gone. Like, all my hopes and prayers just disappeared. So I think all 3 objects have a place, just depending on the team that needs them and how they plan on using it. Peter Melton, opinion on Eddie Guerrero's signature 3 Muigos paired with Blades, Claws, Fangs. Obviously not for Pauper, but imagine Corvus's Glaive. I believe. Give me a second here. I gotta read how Blades Claws works. When this character hits and would deal normal damage during a close, you may roll a d6. If you do, deal damage equal to the result instead of normal damage. Minimum. That's gonna need a win answer, but I feel like it doesn't interact the way you want it to with Blades. It might. I personally prefer the 3 damage. I'm comfy with the 3 damage myself. But it could work. I mean, I just don't like the there's risk of, there's 2 values on the die that can actually just leave you hanging if your opponent has like impervious or invincible or invulnerable, and that's like a 1 or a 2, which shows up a little bit too frequently for my cups. So it's a 1 in 3 chance of that completely blowing up in your face. There's a 50-50%, like there's a 50-50 shot of it going up there, and then there's like a 1 in 6 chance of it being exactly your damage anyway. I'm kind of comfy with just the 3 damage, to be brutally honest, but it's not a bad character. I don't like to fall into the trap of flurry blades on everything. Just go with the damage you got. I don't think I've ever not used the damage that Wolverine has on the calling on that one. Triple H, Arrow, and Lex are politicians. Yes, that's it. Politician is a lot better than I thought it would be made by WWE. I did not think WWE would be the one that said, "Hey man, politician's gonna be strong." Rafael Tassi, anything in WWE you think will be meta, not Pauper meta, for high-level competition like Nats and Worlds? Yeah, I mean, a lot of the ones I really kind of went nuts for, like The Undertaker, there's a place for them. The only big scary problem with them is what's it called? Kobik. Because Kobik isn't copying, it is switching. It's forcing you to be unable to move, to use your team ability. Which, as you can imagine, is not fun when you plan on dealing with that. And just slowly but methodically watch your guys just get picked at one at a time. It's not good times. So you do have to brace yourself for the Kobik problem, as it were. But I think a number of them will find a way into being played one way or another. And they'll be in keywords that are either established or about to become established as a result. Like, I don't want to sleep on Celebrity. I think Mojo kind of makes a thing with some of the celebrities. I've played it a few times, but I also haven't played it in like the competitive kind of environment. So I have to still give it a try with some players who are who have the time, and when I have the time as well to make it all work. And Ricky L, as a huge wrestling fan, is this your favorite set of all time in Heroclix? I have not spent as much time smiling about a set of Heroclix since this set release. And it's part of it is, yes, I'm a big wrestling fan, but I've been a lapsed fan here and there. Like, this set came out at the perfect time for me because it's been 2 or 3 years since I've kind of come back into wrestling, watching local indie shows, trying to watch WWE as much as I can. I more or less spend more time watching their pay-per-views and playing catch-up with whatever news is out there. But, you know, the new AEW, NWA stuff I've been watching a lot of. Local indie shows I've been watching a lot of. Impact Wrestling I've been watching a lot of. And there's enough old, there's enough new that I'm kind of like, hey, cool. And enough, you know, wrestlers who wrestled in Japan as well that make me kind of go, yeah, I'm really loving this. And by far, I think this is my favorite set. Just on the fact that it is super safe to play a little bit recklessly with these close combat focused characters. So yeah, probably currently sitting at my favorite set. In fact, expect it to be top of my favorite sets of 2019 when we're doing our end of year lists with the Metal Lab. So, but with that, I want to say to everybody, it's been a wonderful evening talking about Pauper. Tomorrow we have one more episode to do our Pauper prep. We're going to talk about the tent poles, the big guys, the guys that kind of sit over here on the map or on the point value spectrum, and kind of focus teams around and just kind of wrap up the conversation about Pauper going into states, which some states start this weekend, other states will be the next weekend. So we're going to cover that. I'm going to play this Sunday. I'm going to give an update to anything that I may have been like, okay, ignore what I said about that. I was wrong, that sort of situation. So we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys tomorrow as we talk about the tent poles and just kind of wrap up the discussion about other characters that might be great in the format. So thank you guys. Check us out at patreon.com/Heroclix. Check out our sponsors at majesticccg.com/apex-insiders. I believe the link is down below. There are longtime sponsors. They've been wonderful to us all the time. And I've recently put up an article on the Apex Insiders Den. So that's, you got to be a subscriber to read it, but it does talk about a crazy Sentinel team I made, and that's not Pauper. So if you want to check that out, majesticccg.com. In the meantime, guys, thanks for joining me in the crazy. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll see you tomorrow night as we step back into the mind of madness.